Hi, and welcome to the UFCW 832 SOFA series. I'm Erin Selby, Director of Education and Training for UFCW, and we do always like to start with a land acknowledgement. As long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the river flows, UFCW 832 acknowledges that we are gathered and work each day on ancestral lands, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. Our offices are located on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 territory, and our work extends into Treaties 3, 4, and 5. We recognize the injustice done to the Indigenous peoples of this land and are committed to supporting and collaborating with Indigenous communities in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. I'm sure many of you have been sticking to your New Year's resolutions, but others, like myself, might need a little inspiration, and that's what we're going to bring you tonight. This month, we're going to get a lesson in gut health. Alyssa Stefanson, who is the Health and Wellness Advisor for Red River Co-op, is joining us to talk about, well, first of all, why is it even important to have a healthy gut? And then some things we can do about it. She's going to share some really good recipes to make sure that your gut is in shape. Alyssa?
Hi. All right, so today we're talking about eating for a healthy gut. So the gut plays a role in immune function, psychological function, providing a barrier between what is inside the body and what is outside the body, digestion, and nutrient absorption. The GI system is the main portal for taking in and processing nutrients, but it also serves as a communication center and disease fighter. From your nervous and immune systems to your mental health and digestive function, a healthy gut plays a pivotal role in your overall well-being. So gut flora. There is an estimated 100 trillion microbial cells, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi that live on and in us, which are primarily bacteria found in the gut. You have more bacteria in your body than you have human cells. While some microorganisms are harmful to our health, many are incredibly beneficial and crucial for good health. Evidence suggests that a balanced and diverse microbiome may contribute to a better overall health, and a less diverse or less balanced microbiome can have a negative impact on our health. Microbiome diversity is important. The microbiome contains both good bacteria and bad bacteria, known as gut flora. The good bacteria feeds on fiber, including both soluble and insoluble fiber in our diets. The bad bacteria feeds on elements in simple sugars and processed foods. Our body has an important symbiotic relationship with our microbiome. It takes all of these microorganisms, digests them, and then produces other compounds that our body can use. So while some of these bacteria are harmful to our health and others are beneficial, they both need to be there. The thousands of different types of both good and bad bacteria that populate the microbiome normally exist in a balance in favor of beneficial bacteria that help prevent overgrowth of bad bacteria that can harm your health. Studies have shown there is potential harm associated with an imbalance in the microbiome due to inflammation, intestinal permeability, or lack of bacterial diversity, any of which may be associated with an overgrowth of unhealthy bacteria. So the gut and brain connection. Like the brain, your gut is full of nerves called the enteric nervous system, or ENS, also referred to as the second brain. The enteric nervous system has the same type of neurons and neurotransmitters found in your central nervous system. The connection between the brain and gut affects your digestion, mood, and the way you think. There is a communication system between the gut and the brain called the gut-brain axis. The gut contains 500 million neurons, which are connected to your brain through nerves in your nervous system. The gut and the brain are connected physically through the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve plays a key role in the parasympathetic nervous system. This is also referred to as your rest and digest nervous system, so it influences your breathing, your heart rate, and your digestive function. An estimated 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut. Serotonin is known as the feel-good hormone. Serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, feelings of well-being, and happiness. This hormone impacts your entire body. It enables brain cells and other nervous system cells to communicate with each other. Serotonin also helps with sleeping, eating, and digestion. Your gut microbes also produce a neurotransmitter called GABA, which helps control feelings of fear and anxiety. When GABA attaches to a protein in your brain known as GABA receptors, it produces a calming effect. This can help with feelings of anxiety, stress, and fear. Gut health and the immune system. About 70% of the immune system is located in the gut. Immune cells in the gut interact with the microbiome that live in the GI tract and are directly influenced by an individual's diet and lifestyle. You want your immune system to react to the pathogens that can make you sick while leaving the beneficial bacteria living in your gut. An unhealthy gut. Like the Greek physician Hippocrates once said, all disease begins in the gut. While this isn't completely accurate, many chronic diseases are thought to originate in the gut. Studies show that if you have too much of a certain kind of bad bacteria in your gut microbiome, you're more likely to have Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. An imbalanced gut can impair your body's ability to absorb nutrients, regulate blood sugar, and store fat. Signs of an unhealthy gut may show up as chronic pain, mild to moderate forms of anxiety and depression, weight loss, migraines, diabetes, insomnia, inflammation, or fatigue. Leaky gut syndrome. Unhealthy gut microbiome composition can lead to inflammation, which means more bacteria cells pass through the damaged lining of the gut. This is known as leaky gut syndrome. Intestinal permeability is a term describing the control of material passing from the inside the GI through the cells lining the gut wall into the rest of the body. The intestine normally exhibits some permeability, which allows nutrients to pass through the gut, while also maintaining a barrier functioning to keep potentially harmful substances from leaving the intestine and migrating to the body more wildly. A possible cause of leaky gut is increased intestinal permeability. This could happen when tight junctions in the gut, which control what passes through the lining of the small intestine, don't work properly. They can let substances leak into the bloodstream. What disrupts the gut? So unfortunately, most antibiotics can't distinguish between good and bad bacteria, so they also kill good bacteria in the gut. NSAIDs also disrupt the normal balance of beneficial bacteria that live in the gut. Lack of sleep and inactivity can increase stress, and chronic stress is linked to inflammation, which can make the intestinal barrier weaker. Processed foods and sugar feed the bad bacteria and cause inflammation. Seed oils, which are overheated and oxidized, can promote inflammation. The typical North American diet is deficient in omega-3s, and we are consuming way too many omega-6s, which fuel our body's inflammatory pathways. Research has shown gluten can increase intestinal permeability in people with celiac or gluten intolerances. Many people are sensitive to dairy, which means your body can't digest the proteins found in milk. Over time, consumption can cause damage to the gut. Phytic acid and lectins are considered anti-nutrients, as they impair the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals. These are found in many nuts, seeds, grains, and legumes. You can reduce these levels by soaking and sprouting them before consumption. Pesticides and herbicides have been confirmed to change the composition of gut microbiota. You can find a list of foods with the least amount of herbicides and pesticides online by searching for the Clean 15, and the ones with the highest amount by searching for the Dirty Dozen. any foods on the dirty dozen list, you should buy organic when possible. So how to improve your gut health? Foods that are beneficial for gut health. So to maintain or restore the health of your microbiome and support good overall health, it is important to maintain a strong balance in favor of beneficial bacteria in your digestive tract. The first step is to eat a well-balanced diet that includes a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Besides providing a healthy dose of vitamins and minerals, they're also a good source of fiber, the main fuel of those bacteria. Aim for 3 large servings of vegetables a day with at least 4 or 5 different sources of vegetables. So eating both prebiotic and probiotic foods help boost the population and diversity of good bacteria. If you don't consume enough prebiotic and probiotic foods, consider taking a supplement to maintain a healthy gut. And it is always recommended to take a probiotic supplement after using an antibiotic. So when purchasing probiotic foods, you want to make sure that you purchase an unpasteurized and raw form. So anything shelf stable will not have living probiotics. So it has to be refrigerated and look for unpasteurized and raw on the label. Healthy fats help regulate inflammation. Polyphenols are considered prebiotics because they feed the bacteria in your gut. There is a specific type of sugar molecule found in leafy greens that helps fuel growth of beneficial bacteria. Cruciferous vegetables contain glucosinates, which, when broken down by your body's microbes, release substances that reduce inflammation. Glucosinolates also latch onto carcinogenic intruders and force them to leave your digestive system. Bone broth is full of valuable amino acids, collagen, gelatin, and trace minerals. Collagen helps nourish the intestinal lining and reduce inflammation. Gelatin is essential for connective tissue function. It literally acts to heal and seal the gut, making bone broth essential for those with chronic inflammation or leaky gut. Gelatin also absorbs water and helps maintain the layer of mucus that keeps gut microbes away from the intestinal barrier. Glycine is an important amino acid that helps your body make proteins. It also helps reduce inflammation and protects ulcers within your gut. Glutamine provides your cells with energy and also helps maintain the integrity of the gut lining. Making small changes to our diets can have a major positive effect down the line. Spend a little time analyzing what you eat in a day, consider writing down your meals in a food journal, and make any adjustments necessary to optimize your digestive health. So I'm a huge fan of simple recipes with only a few ingredients, not much of a cleanup after. So the first recipe is a breakfast one, and I chose to use wild frozen blueberries. The reason that I chose to use wild blueberries is because they have 30% less sugar than regular blueberries, so they are low glycemic. Frozen blueberries also have a higher nutritional value than fresh blueberries because berries have the most nutrition when they're first picked and then they're frozen right away, so they retain their nutrition value. So then I used organic coconut milk as a replacement instead of using any kind of dairy. You can also use coconut yogurt as well, or coconut kefir. And then I put on top of it raw unpasteurized honey for extra antioxidants and the prebiotics, which feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. And I added in psyllium husk on top. You want to add it in after, and you don't want to mix it in, otherwise it'll get too thick. But it's a type of soluble and insoluble fiber, so it's to add extra fullness and slow digestion. All right, so the next recipe is bone broth, and I used chicken bone broth. This is a dehydrated powder form, so it's super simple to make. You can also use a pre-made frozen bone broth or make your own at home. And the reason that you want to use chicken bone broth is it's a type 2 collagen, so it's good for your joints and it's good to help maintain your gut lining, and also good for cartilage as well. I added in fermented turmeric. and you want to use fermented because it's more readily absorbable. Turmeric is really great for its anti-inflammatory properties. I also added in Redmond real salt, and the reason that I use Redmond real salt is because it is unrefined and it doesn't have any chemicals like other salts do. It also is loaded with many different minerals. So I added in MCT oil with ghee butter. And the reason that I added that in is to add an extra flavor and healthy fats. So ghee butter is good for anyone who has a sensitivity to dairy, as it is lactose free. The MCT oil stands for medium chain triglycerides, which is really good for inflammation. And I also decided to include Wolsey kombucha. So kombucha is a fermented tea, so it's a really great probiotic. This is also a local maker as well. So these are a couple dinner side dishes. And I made sweet potato because sweet potato contains resistant starch. And resistant starches are carbohydrates that do not break down into sugar and are not absorbed by the small intestine. So I added to the sweet potato ghee and MCT oil on top, just a teaspoon. And then I also added in cinnamon as an anti-inflammatory spice. For the Brussels sprouts, I cooked them in a bit of olive oil. And then I added nutritional yeast is a really great substitute for cheese. It actually has a nutty, cheesy flavor and super high in B vitamins and fiber as well. And I added in, this is my favorite salt, it's Herbamer salt. Also organic, and it does not contain any chemicals, just like Redmond salt does, and it also has some organic herbs in it as well. Right, and the final recipe is dessert, and who doesn't love chocolate? And yes, chocolate can be very good for you. So you want to use raw cacao and raw cacao butter because it's unprocessed. And cacao is actually the highest food source of magnesium, and it's estimated that 70% of North Americans are not magnesium deficient, but not meeting the daily requirements of magnesium. So I also included in there maca, and maca is a root vegetable, so this is fermented, and it's known as an adaptogenic vegetable, so it helps your body deal with stress and anxiety. I also added in raw honey for the sweetener, for the prebiotics and the antioxidants and the enzymes. And then we also have goji berries, which are high in polyphenols, just like the wild blueberries were as well. MCT oil, it's a medium chained triglyceride fat. So it's really good for inflammation. So ghee butter it has a higher fat content more than dairy does, so it's actually lactose free. Maca is a fermented root vegetable. It's an adaptogenic, so it's really good for stress and anxiety, helping you adapt to stressful situations. So fermented actually helps your body digest it and absorb it better. So to start is just go on a whole foods diet as much as possible and just try and eliminate as much sugar and processed foods as possible. You don't have to completely cut it out, but just make small changes. Try and focus the majority of your diet on whole foods and cut back on the processed foods and sugars, and then you can add in the next step. Absolutely. So we offer free consultations for any of our customers and members. All they have to do is send me an email, and we will include the email at the end of the webinar.
Thanks, Alyssa, for those helpful tips and their baby steps towards getting healthier in 2022. I also want to thank you for joining us. This is just one of the things that we do at UFCW 832 to keep our members informed. If you'd like to learn more about your union, or if you'd like to learn about how you could join UFCW, you can always check out our website at ufcw832.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.